Today we will be taking this carburetor off of this Honda lawnmower here, cleaning it out and seeing what it looks like. I will also be kind of giving a little step-by-step tutorial on the different parts of the carburetor and also how to clean them. Carburetors on all these engines here are roughly the same, kind of different in some aspects for this one compared to these two here, but they all kind of are the same. Taking the bottom bowl off, kind of cleaning out the needle jet or the needle valve for the float, cleaning out your high-speed idle circuits, your main jet, and your emulsion tube. We're going to be taking a look at all those. If you guys don't have a clue what I'm talking about right now, don't worry. I'll be getting to it in just a second. I wheeled the lawnmower into the shade here just to get a better kind of view angle. And if you take this air box off of the front here, this is your filter. This one on this specific mower definitely needs some replacing. You can see it is starting to even grow mold in the top here from water that has seeped into here. So if yours looks like this, you'd want to get it replaced. For this one in specific, I'm just going to leave it on here because I don't really care right now. And under those, under that air filter, there is two 10mm bolts here that you're going to want to unbolt. Now, be careful when doing this. There is a sandwich of gaskets and pieces that go in between your carburetor and your actual intake port on your engine. And they're going to all fall between the bottom, so pay attention. And make sure that you don't lose them or accidentally rip them because they are pretty brittle. So like I said, you're going to grab your 10mm socket. You're going to start unbolting these 10mm bolts. Going to do one at a time, I'd say. Make sure the gas is off also. Your mower should have a kind of a gas shut-off switch right there. If it doesn't, then just kind of clamp it down with some pliers or something and keep the gas from flowing down. And you're going to start unbolting these bolts here. I'll get back to you guys in just a second when I have those. Those two bolts are loose enough. Everything should kind of just fall out of place here. Now, like I said before, there is a lot of gaskets on here. Some might not want to come off and some might, but basically they're all kind of just going to, some might stay in place, like mine in this case is staying in place. But this whole plate right here is normally going to come off. And if it does, don't worry, it will be fine. You'll get it back on there. Basically, we're going to go ahead and just disconnect the carburetor from our fuel line right here and also our governor assembly right here. Your governor linkage assembly. You have your return spring and your governor rod right here. Basically, this controls the speed of the engine, making sure it does not over rev and just die and kill itself. Also letting it kind of stay at a consistent RPM. So we're going to go ahead and get that off of there, and I'll get back to you guys in just a second. It is your first time getting off of this fuel line right here. It can be kind of difficult because from factory they like add a certain material into the internal piece right here when connecting it to make sure it just doesn't come off, I guess. So I put this clamp right here. The other one that was on it originally got broke. So you're just going to want to kind of get this off of here with pliers. Sometimes you got to kind of twist the fuel line from like down here until it kind of breaks free and then kind of loosen it off. So yeah, just kind of fiddle with it, play with it until you get it off. And I'll get back with you guys in just 1 second. After getting your fuel line off, mine was kind of a bitch to get off, even still after getting it off of there a time or two before. This carburetor still has fuel down in the bowl right here. So make sure not to tilt it over, otherwise you will have gas start to leak out from the top right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. There we go. You'll have gas leak out of the top right there, which is, you don't want. I mean, it's fine if it does, but kind of be prepared from it not to happen. Otherwise, you'll get gas kind of everywhere, like you guys can see right here. As you guys can see, I'm kind of just draining the carburetor here. And basically, you're just going to want to kind of hold it like at a certain angle until all the gas kind of falls out of the vent hole at the top corner right there, as you guys can see. That small little hole right there, that's the vent hole for your bowl/float area, so it can breathe and not cause it to vent lock. So you're gonna get all the gas out of that, and once it's done dripping out and draining, you can go ahead and open up your carburetor. So I'll get to that right now. Once you got your carburetor off and drained, you can go ahead and open up or take off this bowl screw down here and take your bowl off. And then we can get to the internals. Go ahead and get your 10mm here and just loosen this up and get it off. It's pretty simple. That bolt off of the bottom of your carburetor, your bowl should kind of just come out. Sometimes you might have to like hit it a little bit to kind of convince it to get out. One thing I'm going to do and go ahead and kind of say before doing any of this is go ahead and get an extra one of these. It is your bowl gasket and also your bolt gasket as well. Most of the time you can kind of put this back on there and bolt this back on and it should work fine and not leak at all. But for the rare occasion that it does, or a rare occasion that this carburetor is very old, this one is in very good condition and not that old. And you can even tell that by looking at the internals here. There's no rust. There's no real wear on this gasket that bad. Same thing with this bolt gasket. But I would really definitely recommend putting a new one of these on just to kind of eliminate the problem even happening. They're very cheap. You can get them online for super cheap, a bundle of them. So I would definitely recommend getting those. Zoomed in a little bit right here. With this float right here, this is basically what goes up and stops your needle valve from letting more gas into the bowl. You're going to want to force this little pin out right here that is holding the bowl or the float into place. Make sure you don't lose that because it's very small. You can lose it very easily. And this should slide right out of there. And this needle, this little float needle right here is what kind of controls this. Now, if this looks warped or flat or just not very, straight and pointy like this one does, you definitely will need to replace it. This can cause your fuel leaks out of your carburetor and a bunch of other things cause problems. Another way that you can tell if your carburetor is really old or not is by looking at this. This is not really yellowed, which this one is not. It looks in very good condition. You can tell in here by looking in here, and you can just tell it's in very good condition, like I just said. And there's no rust in our bowl either. So this carburetor is very clean. The next thing I'm going to get to is our main jet and our emulsion tube, which is in here. That controls how much fuel goes up and is put into the engine. And also our needle valve and our atmospheric vents, which are in the corner right there, going up to right there, which basically lets your bowl breathe and not causing it to ventilation lock from all the gas in there. Put it this way, if you're constantly having gas go in and come out, there's going to be ventilation in there. There's going to be suction in the air in there. And if you don't have a vent hole, it'll cause a suction to the point to where there's no gas being able to go through this assembly right here into your engine, causing it not to run. So to get this main jet out, you're going to want to find a very good screwdriver that can fit down here and get onto the threads on the inside right here of this jet. I don't know if you guys can kind of see it down there. But you also want to find it, not too big to where it's hitting the threads in here and stripping them, causing you not to be able to get your main jet out or back in. I try to do this with one hand. As you guys can see here, I am unscrewing the emulsion tube on the inside right here, which should come out in just a second. In that last clip, I said I was unscrewing the emulsion tube. I meant I was unscrewing the main jet, to make it clear. And this should just kind of slide right out once you have it unscrewed all the way. Sometimes it might want to be a little stubborn and stay into place, but you can kind of force it out like I am. And there is our main jet. Now be very careful with this. This thing will strip like hell. It is a very, very fine and thin material that definitely does not stand up to, this screwdriver. And your emulsion tube should just slide out right underneath where your main jet was, right above where it was. If it doesn't, sometimes you can kind of shove it down through the inside right here with like a screwdriver, like a pick or something, and it should just kind of come right out. On some carburetors that are like older, not been taken apart in such a long time, it might get stuck in there. All right, so after you have your carb roughly disassembled here, we're gonna go ahead and spray out our main pieces here with some carb cleaner right here. You can get this at Harbor Freight, Walmart, probably even Lowe's and Home Depot as well, maybe. But it's pretty simple, easy stuff here. Now, you're going to want to make sure that you don't get this on some of your plastic parts. There's not really any plastic parts on your carburetor, but like for your choke lever right here, this is plastic. You're not going to want to let this get onto that. I mean, you're going to want to prevent it as much as you can. If you're wearing rubber gloves, this stuff will eat right through it. It is like freaking acid. It eats right through stuff. So we're going to go ahead and get this connected up here. All right, so we have our emulsion tube and our main jet and then our other part of our carburetor housing right here. You're going to get your carb cleaner and you're just going to want to go up to both sides of this and just spray it equally. You're going to want to be careful not to have this facing towards you at all, because if this stuff sprays in your eye, it will sting pretty badly. I'll warn you. Doesn't feel good. And basically, once you spray that, any debris or dirt or buildup of grime or old gas in here should kind of spray out these little holes right here. Now, this really isn't what I find gets clogged up as much. This is mainly getting clogged up here. Sorry. Is this main jet. And as you guys can see on this one, that hole is very, very tiny. Now, it is tiny to begin with, but that's extremely, extremely tiny. It should be a little bigger than that. So over time, this will get gunked up and build up with dirt and stuff that the engine might have breathed in or gotten in the gas, whatever the case might be. So you're going to want to clean this out over time. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this carburetor cleaner here, put this onto here, and just spray that out. And as you guys can see right there, it opened that hole up a decent little bit more there than it was before. So it kind of cleaned all that crap, gunk up out of there. And that's cleaned out now. Now we're going to grab our carburetor main housing here. You don't really have to do this. I like to do it. And spray your fuel inlet right here where your fuel line connects up to. Sometimes that might get gunked up over time. But one thing that you're definitely going to want to clean out here is your idle adjustment, or your idle circuit and your high-speed circuit, which those two are right there. You're going to want to spray your circuits out, definitely. You're going to get in there and spray. Sometimes they might spray right back at you, so make sure it's not. As you can see, that was definitely our idle circuit. And then you have your atmospheric vent, which is right here, and that should spray out of the bottom of the carburetor, if I'm correct. As you guys can see, it just did. Sprayed out right there. So that's your atmospheric vent. That's definitely not going to want to be clogged up or anything. And after that, you can kind of spray your carburetor off roughly, but I mean, at this point where you should be about good, you're going to want to spray where your needle valve is as well. That's where the fuel is coming in at. As you guys could saw, it came out of our fuel inlet right there where our fuel line connects up to. So everything is clean on our carburetor here. Everything is sprayed out, has been cleaned with the carburetor cleaner, and it is ready to be reassembled. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now. So we're basically going to do what we just did. We're going to get our emulsion tube here. Make sure this part right here with the longer end is going into your carburetor first, like so. You're going to want to get your main jet, and you're going to want to put it in to where these threads are facing outwards to where you can screw it into place. And you're going to want to screw that in, once again, with your flathead screwdriver. Careful not to over-thread this or over-tighten it, because it's going to be that much harder to get out the next time that you're trying to get it out. And those threads strip very, very easily. They're very easy to strip. They're not like normal metal. It's a very, very fine and thin bronze, copper-like material that strips and breaks very easily, so be careful. We can go ahead and get our float pin, or float needle pin, and our float needle valve right here, and get ready to reassemble that back into the engine. Or not the engine, the carburetor. My bad. Losing it here. So you're gonna get your float needle right there. You're gonna have your carb flips like this, and you're gonna kind of work this needle back right in to that hole right here. Now sometimes it might want to come off. Now I'm gonna do this with one hand. It's easier to do with one hand than two hands, so I'm gonna do it with one hand and show you guys it when I'm done. Back in, the bowl is good, and you can tell it's good because it should sit parallel with the bottom or the top housing of your carburetor right here. If it sits like this, or down too much like that, kind of, it is going to cause too much fuel like this. Or if it's stuck like this, I've seen sometimes when people install it wrong, it will not let any fuel into the bowl at all. So you're not going to want this, and you're not going to want that. You're going to want a parallel shift with your carburetor housing. And once you have that float back in, you can slide your pin back in and to hold that carburetor or the float back in place, and you should be good to go ahead and reassemble your bowl back on here and your bowl bolt back onto the bottom of that. Like I said before, you're going to want to kind of put a new gasket on here. I'm not going to do it in this case because this one looks basically fine. But if it's ripped or torn or warped or anything like that, and same thing with this one, you're going to want to replace it if it's warped, torn, or ripped, anything like that. So, yeah. All right, so after you have this bolt put back onto here, make sure you kind of torque it down. Not too hard, but, I mean, decently good to make sure it doesn't leak or anything like that. We're gonna go ahead and bring our carburetor back over to our lawnmower engine right here. And we're gonna line our sides back up right here. So there should be a gasket right here. In this case, there's not. So there should be, yeah, this one right here. You're gonna wanna line your holes up right here. So in this case, you're gonna want it to be like this. You're gonna wanna line these up like this, as you can see, with your carburetor here. You're gonna have it like this. So your throttle's back here and your choke is right here. And this is where your governor arm assembly comes into kind of a difficult process to do if you don't if you don't do this first. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. You're gonna go ahead and find your bigger hole, which is on this one is gonna be the top one right there, and fit your governor linkage through, and you can have your governor return spring inserted into this smaller one. And once those are inserted, you should be good to go ahead and put your carburetor back on here. So we're gonna go ahead and work that down like so. You're gonna wanna find this and have this connected via right here, and get your other side of your gas. Found the 190 engines, the GCV 190s. This is a 160, as you can see right there. And you can also tell, oh my God, you can also tell right in here, it should tell you the cubic centimeter size of the bore. So this one's a 160. The 190s I found are more difficult. They have like a different kind of side piece panel right here for like your kill switch / your flywheel brakes. And they have another piece right here which causes you to have a whole nother gasket. So it might be a little different, but I mean, it's going to be basically the same process you took into getting it off. So just pay attention to how you did that and you should be fine. Roughly, it's going to be basically the same with other engines. You might have just basically the same amount of gaskets I have here, or maybe one extra, because there might be a metal plate right here to add for some carburetor support / engine flywheel brake support. Okay, so I got all the gaskets back on here. It'll only take but just a second. And one thing that I would go ahead and say and do while you're back here is put your crankcase ventilation hose onto your air filter housing. And it should just be kind of a little port right there. It might be a little different on some other models of Honda GCV series engines, but this one should be kind of like that. And you can go and slide that hose that is connected to your ventilation assembly right there. Connect it up to here. I'm gonna get these last two bolts both down fully on and go and show you guys it running. So there most likely is a specific torque spec for these. I mean, I don't know the exact torque spec, but there probably is one for these two carburetor mounting bolts here. I'm not gonna put one on. I'm not gonna torque it to spec. Make sure it's tight. I mean, that's all that really matters for parts besides your flywheel nut and your two bolts holding on your crank or your connecting rod to your crankshaft. Those are like the three bolts that you're gonna wanna make sure are torqued to spec, because they can cause catastrophic damage to not only the engine, but to you as well. That carburetor, or not the carburetor, if the flywheel comes flying off this damn engine at 3,600 RPM and comes barreling through this freaking pull start housing here and flies right towards you, it's gonna cut into your leg like hell. It's gonna be metal spinning very fast, flying at you, and grenading and exploding. So I don't think you guys want that. So make sure if you are taking your flywheel off, maybe in a future video, I might show you guys how to do that. Yeah. When everything's back on, you're gonna get your air filter here. Mine's pretty chopped. You're gonna get your air filter, and you're gonna wanna put it into your air filter housing like so. And basically just go ahead and insert this back into place. And it should snap right on, boom. And this thing is ready to start. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a quick run test of it to show you guys it working. So we went in and put the carburetor back on. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the gas on right here, like so. Gas is on, and go ahead and give her a pull and get her started. So I have a zip tie right here. I wouldn't recommend doing this because this can actually cause damage if you go under this deck housing with the blade. It can cause very bad damage, so don't do what I'm doing here. We're gonna go ahead and give her a pull, get to the engine right here, and this is gonna be the first pull that I've done with this engine. I've not ran this thing in weeks, so let's go and see. It might not start up the first pull, but hopefully it does. Okay, so it runs perfect. So if you guys enjoyed this video, found this video helpful in any way, I would really appreciate it if you guys left a thumbs up. Also, even possibly subscribe to my channel. I will be doing more videos like this in the future, so stay tuned and see what the next videos are. I'd really appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Peace out.